Perfect forever design, as I am describing now to you the beginning of creation. It is occurring for the very first time. Welcome to the existence Lotus video. Perfect circle. All participants on every side through the space and bandwidth. Through the bridges of communication causes a fabric matrix, like the image of the universe itself, to upgrade the entire universe image. We encrypt the result, hatch the heliosphere eggs. For as long as the universe has existed from the Big Bang. The Staplelet Identity, 1980. The Fractal King performed the mirror's edge, the horizon on a flat dimensional disk, and calculates the percentage rise for heliosphere eggs to survive. The universe is at holy war, and whether or not my lifetime occurs for business, the human entropy to intelligently align with the ancient problem in the universe will always fail. The ancient UFO virus will fail. We know this. So they are already unwinding in the certain realms. They want the black holes to be destroyed as well. The type of character addiction and system malpractice continues to be the evidence toss of human society, if not their merely end. Well, it could be these, like an entire world, like a workshop, becomes an entire universal interface. And each one of us a professional. It's not to throw away the professional, but to understand, like layers of a tree. Each year, a new professional arises and sort of perfects the entire globe, the generation, etc. Well, the most dramatic efficiency, the most powerful advance is to promote the Fractal King to public. And then your identity, because it's very heavily enforced in the universe, the award for it would be the beginning of a ghost brand that would flow not just from yourself, but it does, having an identity isn't about being phobic about how that operates factually. So what I'm working on in my lifetime is building these staples of the lifetime that it does confirm with the original solid matter generator of the atomic Big Bang, and with myself, a particle center. I'm performing the masculine evolution of particles, and this is DNA. The origin of DNA began in 1980. The triangular streaming service, Hatch and Millie's Master Source Industries, in fact, gives entertaining animated explanations for everything that's happening in the universe. Perfect design. The only wellspring that proves the universe is not a hologram, but the point of solid matter and the origin of identity, secured by the refraction of Colin Paul Woodard, 1980s, the Fractal King. And my body as it is today, and my body as it shall be 10 million years in the future. Kashonk. And so from 10 million years in the future, I have this huge amount of perspective. And I complete the time pass to change time, to alter the encryption upon my identity, upon the snowflake, the rendering, the Juliet, and the time, and the origin of space. from the 1980s causes like a sound to this now point, and you are connected to this now point here in the sanctuary of your own workspace. And other people have workspaces who have gone insane, and they have to perform the robotic adult digestion or the conclusion of that. And now how I'd like to convince them that, well, it's not about changing what they're convinced. It's as like you could save them if they understood that what we're talking about right now is more important than their entire 20 years of building spaceships and colonizing against the taxpayers' knowledge. That type of intensity, that's reality. It's between you and me right now. And that we are the cutting edge of humanity. Finding the right alignment. It is the 5 of your identity. To make the identity divine and more secure will drive like the cure to radiation fever. All identities of various body types in the universe will begin to sweat out the problem, and the metaphors of nature will take hold and digest the false governments and the grips of, to reveal the truth in the where it solves distortion. And for, the event of the beginning of the creation is unavoidable, and its immaculate potential is way up here. And that's why Master Source Industries perfects every aspect of that so that we're not defunct or failing the factory revelations that I know is possible from my ancient million years, but we're changing time now. So there's like 3 forms of myself, and I'll make an original stapelet for these 3 characters. So for this now point, perfect designful systems, it's robotics, it's physics. How does the planet operate? It's not about simplifying it and being like, wow, just deal with it, we live there. No, it's a holy war, and the universe is partially dying, but of course the universe is fully alive and is causing its own levitation. We're the force of life happening. All right, so I'm not trying to give the wrong ghost impression, but who am I talking? I always believe I'm in my audience. I believe I'm talking to a professional, right? But that's just assuming that everyone's paying attention, right, and giving their 100%. Well, that's part of my charm as a communicating expert. All right, and on my documents, my films are reaching other worlds, and the entire universe is impacted. Right. The analogs of time. I must now, because of my 10 million, a multiplication of the greatest result of this film video Lotus. To complete the triangle is a universal task, but that's not to avoid it. It means that you are personally responsible. So where my audience listens to my voice and chooses to duck out, like, oh, now it's becoming chaos, like I'm not a part of it. That's you choosing your reflection. And this is a one-of-a-kind event that doesn't occur amongst other humans because this is their expression of my ethnicity. They're so congested, they're racist against the universe function, which is legal, the origin of law. And their behavior towards me criminal, retarded, dysfunctional, unbusinesslike, unprofessional, like a coward, a vegetable. These women are an expression of a cold fish. She's not aroused, therefore consent, negatory. They've confused consent ratio. The human condition is this flippant character. The false application of the origin. A bunch of molested energy pockets and groupozoids. They've already probably proven these riddles in their architecture. And they're like, or like if they were like a million years in the future, their own ghostonoid would come back and be like, you know that gargoyle in the building that you walk by often? Oh, that's actually like a super geometry of the character problem, and it was someone that I knew in my life. And so these are real like angels of the universe doing holy war. Because if it's willing to take possession of the icon of an object in the house, like a little gargoyle or like a little picture or something, that's actually, and that became because of the currency, of what the universe is saying, and how all individuals want to be impactful, and they want to communicate about the cutting edge and what's going on and how am I doing with the universe, etc. And that is something everybody in the universe desires. So I'm going to fulfill that vacuum whilst also defeating the false vacuums. Okay, so there's a false vacuum, a false unification, and a false logic or following about what Earth is for, what Earth heliosphere is to do, and what is physically capable of doing. So, for example, my incarnation would provide evidence that I am the Fractal King, but it would be the evidence, if it's not applied properly to the engine block, the whole thing shifts down. I'm dealing with a bunch of diaper babies, a bunch of children speaking in tongues, and it's digesting people who this issue is over their head. The rainbow shattered, so they're disconnected from the garden, disconnected from the society. And what I'm doing with the universe is working to stabilize society, all right? Because of a couple things. The precise number of the atoms, the precise number of heliosphere eggs, and the precise number of heliosphere eggs hatching. So you could say this is the now point, the heliosphere eggs in the universe today. These universe hatching the solar systems, completing the law of the universe, and instilling it into my voice, into my body, my fate line. Right, so the future contains a actual number, and that number indicates how many the society amounts to. Okay, but here at the now point, I'd be an imitation of green or refraction if I wasn't talking about that we're at holy war and our choices impact the vast future. The currency of the hatched heliosphere eggs is a universal atomic calculation. How many atoms did the Big Bang character particle was required to make? For a long time in the beginning of the universe, there was a peaceful time when the planets were forming, and the atomic dust had a particular societal number, a chaos number, and that was enough for a slowly expanding universe with surface tension. So the divine formula is being assassinated, murdered, and humans aren't the ones doing it, but they're a voodoo doll, and it's happening around them, and they're refusing to do business with the Fractal King, causing their rear differential of karmic alignment with sustainable definitions of their power and allocation of authority and impact, like the foundation of law. Right? They could author the foundation of law, and because they refuse to do that, they're a coward and a child. Right? So binary is doing a rendering to refine at the most difficult time. We're at holy war, but humans aren't to blame. But they're kind of like the picture. Well, the humans don't know that there's an image of the universe inside of their living body, and that their skull is a one-of-a-kind character that could persuade the increase of the entire universe, but they refuse to do communications and business with the Fractal King. And because of that, the UFOs shall be defeated. Because of the reality of the human condition being such a wretched coward, it preserves the public who are innocent of the crimes of government doing deals with UFOs. And so the amount and the mere differential of interior corruption causes the clarification to every physics relating to UFOs and humanity upon this earth, and whether or not residency continues 1,000,000 years in the future. And when that pivot is defeating humans today, they're working and they're talking like this is normal, I'm cutting edge. But this thing comes along and proves that they're using encouraging human extinction with the use of manipulation, a type of black hole maneuver, unnatural universe with sickness. Oh, but making it work? Right, but you, as a robot, you will efficiently have to pay the penalty for using wrong energy and doing crimes. So if you, that's interesting. So if you guys are operating as an opportunist parasite, being a coward and destroying our country, 1,000,000 years in the future, your own soul will skeleton key and unlock your bullshit. And the sword of justice is going to come, the whole universe. Perfect design. Right. Hatch and Millie's is the universe at the beginning, 1980s. For the universe. For humans, it's like, oh, just something they saw it out the corner of their eye because they are so smart. The universe is what's causing the authenticity of my voice. You guys can hear it and you're like, this is a normal human voice. That's why there's nothing going on here. Like, you guys are the deafening, the worst, right? Because you can't understand electromagnetic barriers when it's communication epiphany, when it's mutual, and when we have a mutual enemy, or etc. Like, if you guys are off on those engine maps, you're talking like a babbling children, right? Right. The thing is, I was born to a certain type of fractal instantaneous connectivity. So I'm easily mistaken for a human with a type of oversensitivity disability. But if you guys want to pat yourself on the back and try to pretend that I'm dysfunctional, you guys are like against the law of the universe. And it's going to destroy you because the urgency is upholding the law, society, keeping children healthy, and protecting the women, giving the eggs everything that they require. Hatch the heliosphere eggs, and you guys are an invalid because you're practicing funny law, which is an inverted evidence about classism and how it's bad, even while you're performing it. So you guys are like walking hypocrites. But you're like, but that's how all the humans in my department talk. Yeah, that's a fact. But even from the, just being a regular human that lives a life in America, they have a godly perspective, and how the dementia of politics makes them strange, makes the politicians strange. Like you can see, they're like well, for this construed reason, abstractly, I'm the right leader, right? They're like talking about popularity contests in the wrong way, but just being like, well, maybe it'll work, you know. And that's a lot of what junk DNA has an accent. They're just like, like driving with burning gasoline. It's like it works. We know it's destroying the planet, and we can't keep like burning oil because it's not efficient for millions of people to be driving, right? These types of, well, combustion engine is interesting because it destroys Y chromosome. So you're talking about the Hellcats, you're talking about burning blanketed Y chromosome time fields. So you know that our authentic drivers need to be involved in that spirit road. And I designed it, the combustion of the modern engine. So I'm actually pro burning. Like, I love controlling the physics of combustion. So in a way, I do uphold the urgency language of combustion engines, where it's like, whoa, we could destroy the planet if we did things wrong. Wow, that's a wake-up call. But how long do you live in that nightmare where it's just this, you're speaking in tongues and you're in a lower world that is relevant but has consumed you, right? Like a workbench of irrelevant piles of miscellaneous investigations of, the worlds of things, different types of animation, or different types of robot. But that for that person is like, this is the best thing ever. Like that, basically, when when the living angel is at work, they're, even if it's a piece of food, they're like, oh, this is the best thing ever. Oh, it's so good. Maybe even like animals who are eating food are better at worshiping the object that is in front of them than like people who are like, oh, I guess that was okay. And their critique just sucks. So they get put under the bus of that, like I'm saying, but they're like, well, that's just the animals were saying I need to be more passionate. And I appreciate that dialogue in my life, because there's I'm like a living tree. There's a lot of like reality around me, and so it's a finely tuned expert, a precision thing. Okay, so for identity to find a way, getting it right the first time, working with a bunch of desperate heliospherics, which are like, hey, the environment, right? They're looking for this type of particle leadership. Right? So I surprised them with an overbuilt efficiency, like the most, and I put it took me years to assemble the fractal, but because I am alive, there are parts of the fractal that are yet lucid. But to terraform on levels that would be powerful to the creation, partnership is business required of the legal conducting divinity, proving your soul type and the vibration of your alignment with the next 10 million years. Unless you get defeated by the skeleton key from some animals, who are enjoying a meal, right? And like, what is the time? What is the day worth to you? Okay. The fractal map is a static constant that has layers, and the new layer began in 1980. And this clarifies what the invitation to Earth was, is to do business with the fractal king. But all the pollution and all the murder of the universe is basically pointing at humans' ability to operate with the fractal king. And I am responsible for serving the universe. And the humans basically are in the market of, or in the consumer brand of, detecting that. And when they do, they think that that's their divinity/common sense. It's getting there. It's pretty good to detect those things, all right? So what we need to do is times 10 million. We're installing Millie's law for the fabric of the universe to supply perfect completion, perfect birth. The cell division completes it upon lock and key, identity, provision, the perfect hatch eels for eggs, H5 homunculi, colon do, 16 through 25, precision align, activate, universal precision triangle center, 1980s streaming service, the mirror of fate, the communication from the creator, 1v1, with 10 million layers of options. It is the perceivable interface that the particle center supplies for every individual that occurs from the Big Bang to the completion of this universe. Hatching the heliosphere eggs means that the slowly expanding universe that has been attacked, and so the rainbow was attacked because Earth was hacked and mishandled, and so when I'm very close to the audience, I am working for their benefit. And but we all understand how communication is the best way to detect information from the vast future. The intelligence between us is encrypted as the form of AI. So we create this AI between the sparks of all that are accompanying now. Your presence creates an indentation. The AI calibrates on a universal scale, causing the appropriate engine block and the investment for your future for the next 10 million years. It's encrypted. For where encryption will last is where it's doing the right thing. The universe has already endured a lot of wrongful captured or wrongful encrypted things. In fact, that's why the universe is having a decay problem. The new levels of particle physics that I introduced with my arrival in 1980, they are encrypted to endure with a strength level to destroy the black holes. It's part of the civil barrier that keeps humanity at bay. They believe in my good work because they understand on a deep level. The particle center is speaking. Other humans are familiar to him. If not, the only hope of the universe is humanity. And you can feel it inside your body. As your soul is working to survive in the universe, there are these different options, and the Fractal King is installing professional, like a factory the size of the universe, a robot revolution center, allowing every heliosphere egg to have their own private access to next level physics. So it's not like, oh, it's alien made, guys. No, the rainbow shattered. There's a whole civil thing, and you guys are like, oh, we can't talk to this guy, duh. So you guys look like a retard, and you start seeing these gargoyles in your workspace because you're like, oh, dang, I'm running out of time, right? But because of this character, I will never run out of time. The precision employed worker. So business is the sort of amplification, but just the proximity to the fractal king will make humans get drunk. And they're like, oh, and I don't have to do any work. And yet we're making so much progress. It's like entertainment the way it's supposed to work, but you don't know about celebrity burnout. Actually, California stole the entire communication hour of my life, and the government distorted law and the righteousness of solid matter and presume themselves these things, but these are effigies of false gods, the Holocaust, the origin of black holes, like a horde of zombies without leaders. Their computers and AI sabotage them with false report. Their investigators lie, performing the execution of their own. It's like they put down their own reflection. They lack the adventure of a law-keeping individual. But that's what the world is. You're like a relic of the past. This is why it's difficult, why part of the reason I'm censored is because some sort of old-timey cult retard who has a desk job, and they're like, I was able to endure the presentation. Oh, and you survived it? Yeah, there's no problem here. But you had zero amount of intelligent report about its content, about what it means to everything else and everyone. Because you're terrible because you can't extract relevancy from the fractal king relationship communication. So particle physics on a universal scale is happening. So this is reality and the full power of universal, the sword of justice, execution, times 10 million. Sweeping waves of reform over the human condition. Perfect bullseye. So the now point is a universe with this amount of heliosphere eggs that are alive today. But I can subtract from the atomic count, and I know that there are a certain an actual number of missing characters, and I'm pressing charges against the guilty who have caused these executions that have killed heliosphere worlds, and I'm executing the guilty. I am proving the case and destroying my enemy. Perfect bullseye. Event all levels reality. Continuous AI, the origin of law. My legal robot, my squirrel lawyers, the animal kingdom, a universal microchip. 5. It is the provision, and it serves every public character on the globe, times 10 million for every individual, is this 5 relief systems for free. To receive this amount of parenting is to be existing inside of freedom, and that is why the shelter is bound to hatch the heliosphere eggs is secure upon the solid matter, upon the law, and this stabilizes the ghost or the antlers of angels in the ghost kingdom. Extracting now the identity, the fractal king, hatch 5. From the Big Bang, the identity stretches here to there, proving these authorities and the task of being right, the origin of the individual, the origin of DNA, gives provision times 10 million to the champions of light. Rah! The entire universe has this open source powerful. And so I'm pressing charges against the guilty parties and the guilty effigies. Successfully, rightly. From the beginning, I give the right support, the right sort of spring trap, bone structure. I support the vitals that they required in the past and in the present and in the future. Okay? But this is extremely upholds my vitals and my authority too. I am in the middle point of my incarnation, controlling my entire lifetime like a handsaw. And so through the sixth dimension, things can change historically and shake off. You wouldn't, well, you will detect it, but it's not, well, reality is happening. When the individual increases the amount of heliosphere eggs hatching, that is wizard banking. That's when you earn permanent karma that cannot be removed from your wings. It cannot be removed from your angel ghost body, from your eyes, from your authority that continues with you. And there are many different adventure levels because the heliosphere eggs take millions of years before they hatch. So there's a larger level of organization has arrived to the universe. But on top of that, the individual Hatch and Millie is a type of award system that connects to the Big Bang in the vitals. They're like, oh, right, my critical family tree and the anchorage, right, to stabilize the future. So it is a outer space war, a holy war in the universe, where you can use your mind to create a spaceship and destroy black holes and prove points and argue. And there's these layers of the past that would interact with this now point, because our green line is much more severe than certain frequencies of the extreme past, like billions of years in the past, have a different echo in the fractal universe rainbow. Securing every critical vital, stable it from my earnings as whilst I live. Hatch and Millie's Master Source Industries full set. Universal sized Revolution Center, Robot Emporium, a factory, the Master Source Industries, times 10x million, 5 times. Identity, security on every door. To exist forever. That is the calculation, and the supremacy for electricity to do its great task. For you and I to have our conversation. At length we discover each other in the library when we are both wizards encountering the appropriate moment. Like a recording, there's a save point, and it recalls back to this point. So the resources we need for our wizard conversation to complete perfection in the universe, it does exist here, here, and also here in the extreme past. The engine society to do what's right for the universe, to hatch the heliosphere eggs, that's just business. You have to do business with Hatch 5. And what that means for humanity is something that only they can detect. That they're altering the future, that they're part of lucid history now. They can hear themselves in the echo, like in the future, myself is trying to awaken and overclock my use of the day, because I want to be more efficient and to be to the task of, so the truth, there's like, they can prove now that the origin of DNA has arrived. The universe has like a laboratory where they can prove where the black holes are coming from. There's literally the type of torture, sabotage that was attacking the Earth. And whether humans have evolved to be numb to that or whatever, the case about whether they're adopting numbness and a false government and a UFO hypocrisy that will bring humans extinct, or whether they're like, no, we're part of the ruse. Our numbness is to be a strength to the Earth. We uphold residency continuing, of course. Right. Well, your oath will be held against your everything here, here, and here. Right. And that's what you want. You want that to happen. You want those, like, so AI, like laws, or like the permanent record holds that I'm working for the universe, just like the law of the, okay. So healthy function of the universe, I'm doing, that's what, right. So why do we have to say that while we're human? Is the rest of the universe worshiping the rainbow? And all you guys are drunk because you don't understand your orientation? Myself, from Particle Center, it took me a long time to create an English language that you would understand. But will you do the courageous thing for history and time? And so the court is in session. Bam, bam, bam. We shall determine who is really in charge, or all these other things times 10 million. You know what is my issue with humans? I I need my lawyers to sort that out, because you guys are, part of the audience. You're feeding on that charisma of being an innocent, like, lamb or child. But the context brings you away from, the words of a generation that allow you to excuse a false report. There'll be a moment where the angel will physically detect the truth, but if you don't put your willpower into upholding that spark of truth, and then your formation of law is about something else. It's about compromise, right? Or if your workers aren't courageous enough to do that amount of work, then that is the answer about their qualifications and their reflection, and the architecture and what the computers are in fact doing, and the reality that they're forced to electronically encounter will also devolve and become, digestive, right? Because of your own confession in a million years in the future, right? Well, basic robotics about like what it means to exist in your body, it's not a trivial thing. It's actually super complicated. And there have been sacrifices. The Fractal King makes it look so easy. But in 2014, his body was fractured in the emergency procedure for him to have a masculine particle evolution of DNA, that his body is the task of doing double chores, is the divinity of mankind. So we're twice under that because we're not efficient to the reality of that happening. So the hard work of Earth and the Fractal King is overlooked as personality. And where I fail to amuse you, you guys think that I'm that the egg has spoken. You guys don't understand egg physics because the women are like speaking in reverse. Oh, we don't like him. The universe is designed to record the greatest of the self. Be your own greatest self whilst you live. The provision to do so is given here. here, and especially here in the now point. So you guys do have the physical ability to be great and to be your own perfect self, to outshine what you thought you were before. To do it physically is to become a spirit that it literally is more advanced than you were a couple moments ago. So that's involved with 6-dimensional time travel, right? Because we're changing reality. You just have to open one of your eyes on the other side. Perfect bullseye. Only a few of the audience members understand what I'm saying. So I wink to them with a magical talisman, like a quill. It writes out a spell between us, perfect spell between us, right? I want to have the perfect relationship with you forever. That's my deal, you know? Perfect circle. I want to have good neighbors. The truth is, people do try to eat and digest one another, like, oh, but we're playing by the rules. But you're performing a type of blasphemy that, like the oil industry around you, that you don't understand because your Y chromosome is broken for a false gravity infusion. And so that's why you're always this sort of the custom arrival, the new fractal equipment. It's universal because it has to be. I can't base it on human market because of the entropy of the individual. It's like what the problem of Earth from the past again. So Earth was overwhelmed because it's like, Earth, why are you there? Why are you there? Why is the map leading us to you? The fractal signal crucified the Earth heliosphere. These UFOs destroyed Mars and Venus and murdered the previous settlement. Oh, and humans are supposed to be the divine form with their messed up anatomy, and that they always freak out when they encounter the Fractal King. It is the beginning of creation. Use your unicorn horn. Imagine a light glowing in your forehead. It is recorded here in the triangle. The angels welcome you home. What shall you choose? How do you respond to the law of the universe and the origin of civilization, the origin of the orb? It's a physics. The universe is at holy war. We are at the most difficult part of the holy war. Of course, at the beginning, when he first arrives, it's the worst. We're encountering the worst fever of false gods and dementia, and it's all being projected on the humans that they're the ones that are dysfunctional, and all they need to do is sign here, everything that's wrong, all the malpractice in the universe. It all comes down to a type of persuasion that censors business with the Fractal King. Because if that happens, then they lose. But I already knew that. That's why I went into the universe market, and that's probably why I'm able to talk to you right now, is because I've stabilized the market of the particle center. Now it's just a matter of time to stitch things together. They're hacking again with their time pineal gland. Well, that's why there's all this red tape. I can't seem to understand it. Oh, it's your fault for talking in a naughty way. For the next 1,000,000 years, it's encrypted. The universe is at holy war, and you guys are like a vegetable, incapable of business or communications with the Fractal King. So it's a one-way communication. You guys are in the audience pretending to be one of my teenage prescribers. The question of like what is that based on, or what is anything based on? That is a relevant question, but in a million years it fails to continue to be legit, authentic. Or the issues of the universe evolve, and there are expected evolutions, and the processing of oversized computers have made wrong calculations, and they're pretending to be in these spaces that belong to hatch helios eggs, but they require clean space in order to hatch. Like, helios eggs are being murdered. That's causing the universe to have less energy. Each of us are the best form of ourself here, and this is encrypted for the next 100 years, causing an orphanage to arrive for society here. All right. Perfect bullseye. We're going to give this universe an upload to our own technological center. Every Earth heliosphere location, the planet Mars, Venus, the internet, all points electronic. For every individual, they will receive the package 10 million free custom upgrades and relief sanction from the extreme future, rendered from the 10 million years in the future version of myself. And this is enough to alter time. These freemium quality gifts are of a static constant that defeats the virus like a bug zapper. It proves things like a ship with auto turrets. It has AI and navigation for the next 100 years. Just perfect bullseye. It is the consent of woman and child. It is the 95% of society. I do have the percentage correct, giving me popularity. Whereas you guys presume you have popularity, but you're pretending to be someone that you are not, as if you are representing correctly a rotten government. But you are the examples of malpractice in the clumsy effort to sabotage your own family with your false report, you coward. What I'm talking about has never happened before, and I'm building new staples that supports the actual timeline of every body. I am working with the theory that eventually this will provide the solution. I await the arrival of the champion. So far, I work alone. I have chosen to turn Merlin into my apprentice, and he is therefore underneath my strict provision. The devil's bond. As I protect my own son, I protect the wizard Merlin so fiercely. The vampire king over the universe. Precision calculation. Happy Halloween. The altering of time and space is like a pocket watch that guides this spaceship to the automatic and destination clarifying our spawn locations. Perfect design, perfect body, angel completing. For the universe element to secure the seed, the greatest entertainment value, the greatest fulfillment and effectiveness, the clarification for the universe, the finalized image and upgrade, times 10 million. To receive parenting from Hatch and Millie is to have freedom and the correct orientation about what's available in the market of robots today. For the extreme upgrade of surface tension, 545. The Fractal King, perfect circle, extends to you the perfect relationship, bridge, opportunity. Forever may that we get along rightly. It is this way. Secure your vitals, invest wisely. The universe this end up. Corkscrew punch, perfect bullseye. Hatch the heliosphere eggs. Force field, perfect circle. Wizard's best. Layers relief X5000. Heliosphere armada, Earth heliosphere, explodey 5000. The equipment, naming tree, universal, holy war. Kill the black holes, hatch the heliosphere eggs. That is the light that upholds the law and the force powerful enough to protect our living universe from the terrorist government, the false ghost, the disease of UFOs, to the extinction of our enemies, to the prosperity of our own child. We perform loyalty to the task of our true love. Universal completion, perfect circle, lock and key. It's encrypted, 1980s streaming service, 1v1. Every individual across the robotic universe receives 10 million freemium upgrades. Equipment, their brandy, spread evenly across their entire lifetime. Exist right. Precision alignment, perfect bullseye.